Hi, this is Parker, wishing you a happy Easter season, and I'm back with an Atlanta real estate market update for the first 3 months of 2024. We're going to see that prices actually dropped a little bit in March, and inventory was also up, both of which are very good news. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's start by looking at the median sales price in Atlanta. So this is our chart of the Atlanta median sales price over the last 5 years. And this final column shows the percentage change year over year. You can see how in the first 2 months of 2024, the median sales price was up about 7% each month year over year. Now, this is very unusual to see this kind of early year jump in the median sales price. And I think this is mostly due to the fact that interest rates ticked down to about 6.5% at the end of 2023. Obviously brought a lot of people back into the market and kind of drove prices up in January and February. But look at March. Prices fell about 1.25% year over year. Why did prices drop a little bit in the spring, which is usually when the market is heating up, especially after 6 consecutive months of price gains in Atlanta? Atlanta weather is usually gorgeous in March. And unfortunately, this year it was really cloudy and rainy most of the month. I think it rained about 17 days in March, and it was cloudy most of the rest of the month and really unseasonably cool. So I think the weather kept a lot of buyers out of the market, certainly kept a lot of people away. And I could kind of feel this micro shift in the market. I had 3 listings live. So I had a bunch of open houses in March, and it seemed like traffic was way down and just seemed like things were not moving along quite as fast. Fortunately, I got all those houses under contract, but I definitely felt a little shift in the market. Now, the second reason prices dipped in March has to do with inventory. That's the number of homes for sale. And in short, Atlanta home inventory for sale was at its highest point since the spring of 2022, 2 years ago. And that was back when interest rates were at about 4% and starting to go up. If we look back at what happened to home inventory in 2023, it basically fell off a cliff. This chart shows the new listings year over year in 2023 and the net change from the year before. Negative numbers are in red, and almost every single month last year was negative, meaning we had fewer listings in 23 than in 22. And you can see some months with over 2,000 fewer new listings compared to the same time in 22. The only month of positive inventory was October, and the end result was a total miss of over 14,500 new listings compared to 2022. The crazy thing is that inventory had been falling since 2019, and in 2023, it just got dramatically worse. The reality is that homeowners don't want to trade their 3% interest rate for a 7% interest rate. If homeowners have been diligent about paying off their mortgages and they've been in the home for some time, of course they have equity and they can basically trade houses. They can sell one house and use it to buy another house with cash. But if when money was cheap, they were using home equity lines of credit, tapping into the equity in their homes and using it to buy cars or boats or luxury goods, who knows what, then they're in a bad position and they frankly can't afford to sell. And that's the real hidden story of the interest rate hikes in 2022. People who own homes, who otherwise would sell them and downsize, are basically locked into those homes because of the effect of high interest rates. So it's hard to buy a home, but it's also hard to sell a home. So if you're wondering how prices keep increasing despite these high interest rates, this pretty much explains it. It's gotten so expensive for people to buy, but it's also gotten very expensive for people to downsize into smaller homes. Inventory has been falling for several years now, and it's pretty basic economics. We still don't have enough supply to meet the demand, so prices are going to stay stable or they're going to go up. But now the good news is that the inventory numbers have been positive the first quarter of 2024. We also saw prices take a little bit of a dip year over year in March. This is good news, and let's hope it continues. Just yesterday, the number of new listings that came on market in my home zip code of Decatur 30033 was probably the most listings I've seen in 2, maybe even 3 years. And the great thing was these were all really nice, quality looking houses. Agents, good agents at least, are obviously doing their homework. They're putting in the time on the front end to make sure that houses are freshly painted, prepped. Sometimes they even do a pre-inspection so that they can get ahead of any issues with like HVAC, water heaters, things like that. The bottom line is it costs a lot of money to borrow these days, and buyers' expectations are very high. They don't want fixer-uppers. They're not looking for project houses. They want a house that's really nice, buttoned up, and ready to move into. They want something, in short, that looks like it could be on HD TV. The cost of borrowing is so high, and people's pocketbooks are getting pinched at the gas station and the grocery store, and they just don't have any patience for something that needs work. So what should we expect for the rest of 2024? Well, even though inventory has been positive so far this year, I would not expect to see any significant price drops. We may see some smaller year-over-year decreases like we saw this month, or a general flattening of Atlanta home prices, both of which would be very welcome, but demand has shown that it's still keeping up with the supply, and therefore we're probably not going to see any significant reduction in Atlanta sales prices. My guess is that inventory will continue to loosen up a bit. I mean, after all, home sellers have had, 18 months or so to adjust to the new normal with the higher interest rates. So they've had to adjust their plans accordingly as well. Buyers have had to adjust to the high interest rate environment, and sellers are definitely having to adjust to it as well. So people's plans are changing, and I think we've had enough time where those plans have formulated in their minds and they're ready to start moving on. So I think we are going to start seeing more inventory on market in Atlanta, which will obviously help the situation. There's also the looming retirement of millions of baby boomers who currently own the majority of property in the United States. And as I said in my baby boomer video, which I'll link down below, or maybe I could link it up here, the aging of the baby boomer population is going to bring a sea change to American housing. And it's really the one kind of X factor that could actually, in the long term, work to bring home prices down in America. So as always, if you're thinking of making the move to Atlanta, or you're thinking of making an investment in Atlanta, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is in the box below. Love to talk to you. Love to help. Call me anytime. Thanks for watching.